Even I didn't. The right is playing fast and loose with facts and scapegoating everyone under the sun, especially black and brown people. As a white man, I do not agree with this, and I am on my black and brown brothers and sisters' side. Fight the good fight. Know that I am part of the resistance. Let's fight the power.
Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Try to get intimate, even though they know I really ain't into it.
You're not into it?
I'm not into it. I already know the game and I've been through it. See, I buy my own bags, my boots, my jeans. Will I rock with my rebel yell underneath? You wanna step to me? Since you got a long way to go. Rock where you know you claim that you're so hot. And you say you got skills in the bedroom. You try to front when you're so mad. Had a chance, you still never come through. You say you wanna come see me, cause you know your girlfriend wanna be me. I'ma tell you why you can't. You got a long way to go. Say you wanna love me, you wanna touch me. Think twice, cause you got a long way to go. Don't know how to act, better fall back. It's like that, cause you got a long way to go.
Happy Tuesday. Welcome in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. And, of course, I'm here to get into your favorite entertainment news. You know, all the trending topics buzzing up and down your timeline, lighting up your group chat. First off, we got to start off and wish happy birthday to one Cassandra Ventura. Cassie. No, Cassie had what, like 2 or 3 bops? 2, really just 2. But they were bops. Like, this very much feels like mid-2000s, you know? Takes you back to that time. So shout out to Cassie, good things, her family, all of that, blah, blah, blah. If you don't feel the same, keep it to yourself today. All right, listen, tonight, you know, we always get into the things, the details, the irony of some of our stories. And tonight, it's no exception. We are talking about Snoop Dogg. Now, we know Snoop has been in the media cycle off and on a lot this year, maybe more than we've usually experienced Snoop in ways that we're not used to discussing as far as him. And tonight's topic is kind of no different, right? Snoop is basically letting the people know at Pixar he has a problem taking his grandchildren to the movies because he feels as though there's too much going on in the films. We'll get into those details. Plus, his thoughts on gentle parenting. He's not a fan. Spoiler alert. We're also going to get into Issa Rae. She is reminding us that Hollywood dreams cost real life money. She has her second book, I believe, that dropped. And so, of course, she's sharing stories and moments from the evolution of her career as a media company. So we're going to get into those details and what she had to say. And apparently your favorite English teacher and PE teacher got engaged today. I mean, that's really if you're white. But shout out to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. They are engaged. Big ups to them. But however, you know how social media does? You know what they are. And of course, they are now harassing Travis's ex-girlfriend, his black ex-girlfriend, Kayla Nicole. So we'll get into some of the comments, why they're popping off at her. And, you know, we'll discuss if there's any validity to some of the things that they're saying or some of the things that they're pointing out. Because that's what we do here. We discuss. We converse. We talk about it. And we're going to get into Tina Knowles. She is proving that Cécred isn't just a product. It's culture care, you know. And big things are happening with the brand and the line. But before we get into all of that, you know, I like to drop a couple of conversation starters on you. And it's important that I keep you up to date with what is going on with Gen Z, because you might have kids in that age range, grandkids, nieces and nephews, mentees. You want to be aware of what's happening with them, right? Right. Of course you do. So Kai Cenat, he's been everywhere. We talk about him quite a bit because he is, I feel, probably one of, if not the top Black streamer currently, right? And he does these things called Mafia-thon, where the goal is to get as many subscribers as possible. It's 24 hours or 72 hours, whatever they set it up to be. And they just stream and they have special guests and all of the things, right? We know he did Streamer University earlier this year. Lots of things are evolving from that. Well, he dropped a trailer for Mafia 3, and one, it looks like a cinematic film trailer, right? It's really quality. Two, it features none other than Michael B. Jordan. And I have to say, Kai's acting wasn't bad. I definitely see the beeline, the pivot to Hollywood. Maybe in his version of it, but I definitely see full-length movies in Kai's future. So just to give you a little background on Mafia-thon, the last version of it, I should say, peaked at over 6 million views in 48 hours, right? And these things show how creators are turning into full-fledged media platforms. Kai's basically doing digital pay-per-view numbers, right? Just to watch him play video games and talk ish with his friends and hang out for the most part. But like I said, the setups are evolving, the scenarios, and it's kind of like a scripted real world, but not scripted reality. Kind of interesting. Tap into it if you want to see what's going on, because these are the next celebrities for the future generation. When we come, Andy, did you have something there? Okay. When we come forward, we're going to get into more trending topics and headlines. Of course, you're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
The long weekend sale is on at Target with exciting deals you won't want to miss. Stock up on grilling must-haves for a few more sunny barbecues. And while you're at it, ease into sweater weather with fresh new fits for the fam. Whether you're hosting, relaxing, or showing off your new style, Target has your deal in-store, online, and in the Target app. Hurry and save more with the long weekend sale happening now through Monday. Only at Target.
Febreze.
Fabric Talk.
Hello, my love. I am your living room carpet. I see everything. I feel everything. After a while, I smell like everything, including Sir Pickles, who you snuggle with while binging that dating show you can't stop watching. So, how about we freshen things up with Febreze Fabric Spray? Oh, and a big spray for my pals, couch and ottoman. Ah, yes, refreshing. Breathe happy, Febreze. La 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 la.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach, transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal, prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you ready to be a part of the conversation that will help shape our nation's future? Get ready to join us for the Left Coast Forum, Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech, where progressive voices will come together to tackle the issues that matter most to working families across Los Angeles and beyond. From economic justice to climate action, from healthcare to housing, we're bringing together the brightest minds and most passionate advocates for real solutions and real change. With work workshops, 2 major keynote addresses, and a closing reception with great music and good food. It's the Left Coast Forum, where your voice matters and your ideas take action. Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech. Brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and the LA Progressive. The future won't wait, and neither should you. Mark your calendar now to be there and be heard. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You are locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Of course, you know this goes down. You can get at us on social media. I, of course, slow down, girl. And Matt Stiletto Jill, KBLA Talk 1580. We love getting your feedback. We love your responses to our reels and conversation points that you put out. You can also download the app and catch back episodes from everyone here on the station. Leave us messages, all types of little cute stuff. Go check that out. And if you want to join the conversation tonight, of course, you can hit us up. 800-920-1580. I love to hear from you. I love your input. Now let's get into these headlines and trending topics. Okay, I need to let you be aware of something upcoming. All you Real Housewives of Potomac fans, slow it down. Reportedly, exclusively by the Jasmine brand, just want to throw that out there, Karen Huger is set to be released next week, September 2nd. That would be Tuesday, the day after Labor Day, after serving time for a 2023 DUI, right? Crash recap. She was in her white Maserati, multiple street signs, trees, even a pole. Body cam footage showed her with slurred speech, profanity, clear intoxication, and her wig was a little askew. That I know she would never let that happen if she was in her right senses, right? We'll see what happens if she returns to Real Housewives once she is released, right? Her sentence was 2 years, 1 year suspended, $3,000 in fines, 5 years probation, 1 year driving ban. This was her first stint in jail, but it was not her first alcohol-related case. So there is that. All right, let's get into Snoopy, okay? So Snoop Dogg, he has a lot of commentary, right? He is Unc at this point. He is a man of a certain age. He has grandchildren. And recently he was on the It's Giving podcast. Or is it just It's Giving? I think it's just It's Giving. And so he was discussing his grandson. And he said that he took his grandson to see the film Pixar, right? Pixar's film Lightyear, which is an extension, if you aren't aware or hadn't heard of it, of Buzz Lightyear from obviously the iconic Toy Story franchise, right? So in it, there is, and by it, I mean the film Lightyear, I believe it's Keke Palmer's character, which Snoop alludes to. Her mother is in a same-sex relationship, right? And so Snoop, I can't play the audio for you because there's a lot of profanity in it from Snoop's part. So, wanted to give Andy a break. But basically Snoop said that his grandson started asking questions and didn't understand. And he feels as though he's not coming to the movies for all of that, right? Now, by the way, this movie was released in 2022, right? So it's either a late gripe or a fresh memory. Maybe they're watching it at home on Disney Plus or something. Don't know, but he talked about it, right? Because there were parenting issues in the conversation. Obviously, it's a homophobic positioning, right? And social media was not open to him. They kind of lit him up regarding it, dragged him for, deflecting instead of parenting and having the conversation, right? And of course, inevitably what came up was, how can you have a problem with this when you have music videos with women engaging in far worse activities than what you see or what is discussed in this cartoon, right? And so, of course, the pushback to that would be the obvious, well, that is adult content. But it's still content, right? And I get it. Maybe you feel as though your grandchild isn't ready to have that conversation. I hope that that means across the board with men and women, because at this point, we are no longer in a time period where this is not normal, right? It's a relationship. It should be treated as such. I understand people might have their religious concerns. There are all types of things. I get that. And I am not telling you how you should live your life or how you should conduct it or the feelings that you should have. But what I am saying is shielding them from it does not make it not a reality in the world, right? You probably would rather have the conversation with you than to let a stranger explain things to them in that manner. And beyond that, we have social media and the internet. You see so much at the same time. I know when I was a kid growing up, I saw stuff that I wasn't supposed to see at a young age. Not that my parents tried to do that, not even necessarily at sometimes in your own home. Things can happen. So I just think that we are especially considering the industry, the type of music, the type of lifestyle that Snoop has led. Remember, Snoop is the same guy. And, I know people are mad. I love Uncle Snoop. I love Snoopy. But there was a time when he was openly calling himself a pimp and walking women down the red carpet with dog chains on and dog collars, right? And granted, that was of those women's free choice to participate in such. But it's just like somebody had to explain that to their kids. So, I don't know. Andy?
Sometimes social media is just not real. I think it's just a place for fake outrage. Snoop Dogg definitely represents a group of individuals in America who feel that way.
Facts. I mean, I'm not denying that. I'm not saying that at all.
So it's just interesting that people are going in on him for, those statements. I'm not like on his side or anything like that, but I understand where he's coming from. And I think he has a right to feel that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do I have to have a conversation with my kids that I did not expect to have? I understand, parenting and all that. You're going to have those conversations. But I can just understand how a segment of the world, let me just say that, a segment of the world would feel a little bit apprehensive to want to have that type of conversation. I mean, even like in the workplace, now I have to watch how I describe certain people without getting in trouble. We are in new times, and I guess this is part of the growing pains. You know what I'm saying? Because I do believe we will get to a point where, the grandson probably already knew what was cracking beforehand. I don't know. Maybe he wanted to know Snoop Dogg's opinion.
Well, here's the thing. I think it's something like that because he said that, like, there's some narration in the story where, basically the mom and the other mom, they have a child and we don't know how that happens, but it happens in some form. And I understand that a certain segment of the population, like, we don't want to explain it because Snoop Dogg's grandson, he said he was like G-Pops in the middle of, he said the theater, so I don't know. He was like, 2 women can't make a baby, da-da-da-da. And that's what Snoop said he had to explain. And I get that. I get that people feel a certain way. They may not be ready to have the conversation, but you could have said, no, I'm just saying, you could say the stork did it. I don't know.
I don't want to have to lie.
You don't have to lie, but are you going to tell the truth when they ask how mom and dad got you here?
Possibly.
Depending upon the age, right? So if you feel like they're old enough to understand that, why are they not old enough to understand the reverse of it? And again, I'm not telling anybody how to parent. I know that it is, listen, I know, I'm not telling you how to parent. It is up to you. You choose what goes down in your home. I am just saying, look at society as a whole right now, right? And the crazy things that are happening, right? Are they happening from People that are living what you might consider a lascivious or lewd lifestyle, an alternative lifestyle, or are they happening from what is considered the normal, right? My point being is simply that, hey, you could have read, because there was information about, you read about stuff you take your kids to. We're in a different time period, right? You got to read everything. How do you explain a couple? How do you explain people that have stepkids in your family? Or you got a brother that we don't see but once or twice a year?
That's a little bit easier to explain. I think there are adults who don't understand the lifestyle. So for me to explain this to my grandson or my kid, it's going to be challenging for me because I don't even know.
Okay, that's fair. Mr. Alvizi in the chat says tolerance and freedom of choice can't be one-sided. Just like people have the right to live their lives however they wish, Snoop and others have the right to reject seeing that in a forum for kids. And again, I said that I completely get that, but the question that I am asking, right, what about those kids also that are under the same thing? You pick and choose. So I think it also behooves you to get, when I say that, I mean there are more kids that are living in situations where they have two moms or two dads from various ways, right?
And in those spaces, I'm sure they're getting the conversation because it's right there.
Right. So my thing is this. Those kids then go to school, right? And are they educating the other kids? I mean, again, which is what happens. I'm just saying at some point, right, you're going to have that conversation. But I do think it's also important to check into what you're taking your kids to go to see. Just because it's a cartoon doesn't mean it's the right content for you. Right? Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I got to do research for all this stuff.
Yeah.
Let me see a trailer.
You got to do research for everything, don't you?
I'm not about to go.
I don't know.
Do some research to go see Coming to America 3 or something. I'm not about to go do that. I'm going to see the trailer, and the trailer should be enough.
The trailer should be enough to let you go.
I got to do some research and be like, who's the cast members? Okay, what's the plot? By that time, I'm probably not even going to be interested in watching the movie anymore.
I feel you on that. DJ Black 909 says Snoop Dogg is a cultural icon and knows the truth about woke culture destroying Hollywood movies.
I'm going to need you to expound on that.
I know what he means. He's saying woke culture. That's the buzzword.
I know what that
means. You know, some people feel there is an agenda underneath the guise of woke. That is to push LBGTQ agenda. That is to push more of us, especially black women, into, anything that essentially isn't straight white man and for some straight black man.
I think I'm going to just push back a little bit. I just don't know. And this is why I want a clarification. I don't know if the LGBT thing is considered like woke. That's
it
not
is
a
for some.
Well,
yes, it is.
Is it?
Because,
learning about it is woke, but
let me tell you,
I just don't know.
Let me tell you, you're probably thinking of our old school definition of woke, right? Woke has been hijacked to convey,
gentrified, huh?
Yeah, to convey a bunch of things that they just want to throw under the umbrella, right? So, listen, you are free to have your choices. You are free to have whatever opinion you like. All I'm saying is that the real world says you're going to have to deal with these things, right? TV, movies, pop culture, music. Your grandson might watch your videos. What do you say? Or you don't let him watch them? You don't let him listen to your music? I know you do, because you said he was cursing in the theater. I don't know. Again, I don't have a dog in the fight. When I say that, I mean, I'm talking about with Snoop and Pixar. I am just saying, like, if you are that concerned, we're in a different time, right? Just like you have the right to express you don't like it, there are plenty of cartoons that don't have that, or animated films, that don't have that aspect. It was highly talked about.
I'm going to assume he didn't know.
Because
And
he
it was
ain't
a
paying,
surprise for him.
and he should be paying attention because that's your grandson, and there are certain activities, things he probably doesn't want him exposed to. But I bet you he'd have no power showing his grandson power. And I'm not mad at it. I'm not saying he should. I'm just saying, you know, just say you can do what you want. You can do what you want. Fahima in the chat says, Jill, so having black women on dog chains is a freedom of expression? Yes. It is. I'm going to be honest, right? Would I do it? Heck no. Are you crazy? But if that's what they wanted to do and there was no force, rock out. You got to live with your choices, though. And I do think that we have to get comfortable that everyone's vision, and I think this is really the fine point of my dissertation here. No, but seriously, we have to get comfortable that everyone's vision is not going to line up with our own. And that is okay, right? They can have their lane and you can have your lane, and everybody can live and keep that thing moving, you know, because crying about it or complaining about it in that aspect is not going to make it go away. And I know that some people, their point is we have dissolved into a den of craziness because we've let so much stuff slide. But that's a conversation for another day to other things. Andy?
Now, was he really crying about it?
I'm not saying him specific. I'm talking broader. I'm not talking about Snoop in that aspect. No, Snoop was just having a conversation.
That's it. Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
He was just having a conversation. He also mentioned how he is not a believer in gentle parenting, i.e., I'm going to bust that behind.
I agree, Snoop.
You know, he answered that with a heck no. He said, F out of here with that timeout. I'm finna put this foot in your behind. Old school. You know, TikTok has made gentle parenting trendy. I am going to say that is why sometimes maybe, you know, people aren't learning hard head, soft behind. That's an old school message. When we come forward, we're going to get into more trending topics and headlines.
Town laying game down like gold. And I remember what my mama showed me, told me. Game recognized game. Stay true to what you do and don't be ashamed. I got all my game from her. Sometimes I have to wonder how I keep from going under. I'm a bad young brother. I fall to my knees, thank God before I do my thing. I don't know why, I love the gang bang. See, life ain't nothing but a twist anyway. Trick anyway. You can say what you wanna say, just don't get in my way. Cause I'm a Mino, Fino, Cino, and Pino. We make records for the thugs in the
Are you ready for the hottest entertainment scoop in Los Angeles? She's bringing you exclusive interviews with today's biggest stars, behind-the-scenes Hollywood insights, and all the entertainment news you need to know. She's breaking down what's trending, what's ending, and what's just beginning in the world of entertainment. You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News. Now, a number of universities across the nation have been dealing with cases of shooting hoaxes. Active shooter alerts have been sent out at schools like the University of Arkansas, University of Colorado Boulder, Iowa State University, and Kansas State University. Former FBI agent Rob D'Amico says authorities need to send a message to would-be swatters.
You're going to need to start prosecuting them, and you're going to need to be public about that prosecution so people just can't think they can do it with no penalty.
Police said in most cases someone used a temporary phone number and apps to mask their voices. State and local leaders in Illinois are advising President Trump to keep the National Guard out of Chicago. Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker said there is no reason to send troops to the city to fight crime, calling the move unconstitutional and un-American. And K-pop Demon Hunters is now Netflix's most watched movie ever. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
La Cañada, it's a crash on the 210 westbound coming up on the 2, and this wreck has been blocking the 2 left lanes. That's slowing you down, getting away from Gould Avenue. Looks like they're almost getting this crash cleared off to the shoulder, but it's causing some pretty tough traffic in the meantime. Let's also look at the drive in Pasadena, eastbound side of the 210, away from Mountain. Pretty heavy and slow in stretches to Citrus, more slowing ahead in Upland from Baseline in stretches to the 15 freeway. Highway. Also very tough out of City Terrace, East 10 from City Terrace Drive and stretches all the way into Redlands. And in Irvine, we're looking at the 405 northbound with a slow drive from the 133 freeway. Delays ahead to Westminster Boulevard.
The unbelievable size and scale of the Cerritos Auto Square allows them to offer special pricing. That is why more people choose to buy their car from one of the 24 dealerships in the Cerritos Auto Square. Learn more at CerritosAutoSquare.com.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Tennis fans watching Venus Williams in the U.S. Open Monday night did not see her break down in tears during her press conference after losing to Karolina Muchova of Czechoslovakia. The 45-year-old Compton native got emotional while answering a question about her health. Venus was away from tennis for 16 months after undergoing surgery for uterine fibroids. Monday night's first-round loss to Muchova was Venus's fourth match since starting her comeback in June. Despite the tears, Venus gave no indication she's thinking about retiring. Venus actually played very well in her loss to Muchova. Just in case Venus decides not to play anymore, here's a recap of her legendary career. 7 Grand Slam titles, including 2 at the U.S. Open. 46 singles titles overall, the most of any active player. 4 Olympic gold medals, and she was ranked number 1 in the world for 11 weeks in 2002. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
At the tone, please record your message.
You ready?
Drop it!
Mr. Tavis Smiley, preach it. Thank you, man. Politics in this country is crazy. You put things in perspective that even I didn't. The right is playing fast and loose with facts and scapegoating everyone under the sun, especially black and brown people. As a white man, I do not agree with this, and I am on my black and brown brothers and sisters' side. Fight the good fight. Know that I am part of the resistance. Let's fight the power.
Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
If you're an African American mom who is pregnant or have a baby under 6 months old, you deserve care that lifts, listens, and lasts. Black Infant Health is for you. It's a free program with individual support, group sessions, and resources to start your mothering journey. BIH makes space for moms and their families to create community. Learn more about the programs in Los Angeles County. Check us out at blackinfanthealth.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
One of y'all gonna be with me. I got 2 bad gonna be rubbing my feet. I got 3 young down the bus at the heat, and all y'all ain't got nothing in me. Ooh, now one of y'all gonna be with me. I got 2 bad gonna be rubbing my feet. I got 3 young that the bus at the heat. And all y'all ain't got nothing on me.
Okay, put your hands up, this the anthem. Smiling cause I'm young, rich, black, and I'm handsome. Not to mention wealthy, on a healthy young millionaire. What the can you tell me? Smell me? That Chanel cologne. I'm in Europe with the tourists with no cellular phone.
Like, ooh, sound like rich problems. I hit the bag with a fist full of.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Had another birthday. It's Virgo season. Happy birthday to Corday. Is that Naomi Osaka's BD?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Just making sure that I have my youngins in the right lineup. So
This is what I'm going to say about Corday. Corday is a throwback. He's a youngster. When you listen to his music, you could drop him off in the 90s. He would excel.
Okay.
He got bars, lyrics.
Shout out to Corday. Are they still a thing? I should be answering that.
I have no idea.
I'm like, why am I asking you?
Don't even see him on the spotlight like that.
I know. They were, though. I wonder. It seems like
Wasn't
maybe.
Naomi Osaka going through like some depression type stuff?
She's been going through a lot. Her tennis career has been an interesting one to watch as she navigates fame, who she is. You know, her family went overseas in order for her to be able to excel. She was born, I believe she was born here, and then they moved to Japan. And so just her whole career path has been interesting. She actually recently said that she thought that she was not going to return to tennis after she had her daughter. So we will see what develops down the line with her. I hope that, you know, she's feeling loved, whole, and refreshed with life. So shout out to those two. Okay, so listen, you guys had a lot to say about Snoop, right? I mean, listen, again, now I am not Joe Jackson mindset for kids. I understand a lot of people
I'll be Joe Jackson.
You'll be Joe Jackson?
Not to that extreme.
Right.
I have no problem. I don't have no kids, but you know, the time that I do, I don't have no problem. I'm going to get that belt, and it's going to be belt to them cheeks.
I mean, I think there are some occasions,
100%.
some things where, you know, maybe you can implore that. But I remember being a kid and asking my dad why he couldn't just talk to me like they did on the Brady Bunch. And he was like, we tried that and now we're here. And I was like, dang, that makes so much. I was like 5 or 6. But to my parents' credit, I didn't get spankings after that, though, after asking that question.
You must have been a good kid then.
Um,
Or you were just real, what's the word I'm looking for?
Crafty.
Real crafty and mischievous.
That too. But I mean, I think, you know, to my parents' credit, which is kind of surprising, just considering the time period, they heard what I was asking, you know, like, I guess in my small child way, it was like, let's communicate. Let's do what I see the white people on TV do and some of my white friends.
So you had some engaging parents.
At times. I'm not going to say all that. Okay. At times, you know, with that particular thing, you know, I mean, and I was a daddy's girl too. So, you know.
There you go.
I mean, I was. So maybe.
You took advantage of that, huh?
Daddy. No. I mean, I really just wanted to know why we couldn't be like the Brady Bunch and they would solve their problems in 30 minutes. I felt like they didn't get no spankings. I shouldn't either.
And you probably was a good kid in that regard, that you probably didn't buck back as much. Because some kids, they will talk back to the parents.
Oh, no, I was scared of my dad. My dad just had to do the booming voice. And
there you go.
It was like fear. But I'm not going to try and act like I was a model child. You know, I had my moments, as we all do. Okay, so let's talk Issa Rae, right? There are questions for me in the chat as to why I reference the Brady Bunch. Forrest Harrison says, Jill, why you can't just obey like the kids on the Brady Bunch? That's basically what he said. They do what they're supposed to do. You kind of not. Excuse me. Okay, so Issa Rae, we know what she has done. We know she started from a web series and has developed into a full-blown, not just media company. Issa Rae has restaurants, a music label, just so many things that are under her umbrella, right? But she has a new essay collection that's out. It was just released today. It's called I Should Be Smarter by Now, right? And whereas her first book covered early life, things that were happening early in her career, these essays cover the latter half, what we have experienced in the last 10 years or so since Insecure has dropped and her star has risen, and all of these other avenues and ventures have evolved from that, right? So she talked about in 2014 when she self-financed, girl, I know this feeling and this movement, 3 pilots without funding, meaning she paid for everything herself. We always talk about betting on yourself. Well, she did just that. And it cost her $150,000. And she said that was basically all of her savings plus half of her first book advance. And it didn't work. It wasn't working. And she said the real mistake was not pulling the plug when I knew I didn't have the money. She said that none of the shows sold, but the loss set her up for the later wins, obviously, with Insecure. But, basically failure taught her as much as success did. And we talk a lot about what success looks like. And we say all the time that failure is a part of the process. But sometimes I think we don't think about it and really look at how we fail and how we come back from that. Almost going broke to fund yourself. Again, we hear that advice all the time. She did it, but sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes you have to plan and move in increments to get to your bigger goal. Sometimes you got to take that huge leap of faith instead of a skip or a little jump. I don't know. But shout out to Issa for blazing a path. It's interesting. Today, I attended the launch ceremony for a creator laboratory. It's located just a few streets up from here on Crenshaw. It's started by James Fauntleroy. And basically, it is for kids in the community to get exposure to retail and training and entrepreneurship and businesses and learning how to focus through all of those things. And Nipsey and Issa Rae were referenced so much as to what they have put in to the community, especially the Crenshaw Leimert, this area community, and what it means to sort of take your own path, and build from the ground up, right? And so I just like to also, I think this is something I'm going to start highlighting too, because obviously appreciate, love Issa and Nipsey, and they speak to the millennials out there, but there are others, and I think that we should also make sure that there's stories, because there's a path, there's a pattern. Talent has never been lacking in the hood, quote, but resources have been, and the pathways out. And one thing that I love about this generation, though, or maybe it's just the natural evolution, is that they are getting direct pathways, ways that they can touch and see what the next 2 and 3 steps are. Because oftentimes one of the biggest problems is that we don't know where to go next. If we don't have, or let's say we blew our whole bag trying to, make our dreams come true. Well, what happens next? Do we just quit? Is it just over? And I feel that these type of setups and institutions show you, one, how you can get somebody else's money to help fund your dream, but two, just other avenues and ways that you can approach getting to your ultimate goal, sharing the knowledge and making it so that it's right there. You don't have to go far to get into that. Think about it. When we were coming up, how many studios were in the hood that weren't like somebody trying to rig something together in their back room? Not that magic couldn't be made that way, and they learned a lot. But I'm just saying, wouldn't it be so much better if also you could just go down the street and be able to walk through the door and get other types of hands-on instruction plus other things that benefit? So that's just a quick thing. I'll play those interviews from that later this week. When we come forward, we're going to get into y'all are harassing Kayla Nicole, and I think it's so unfair. All of that and more on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're Ride with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Sometimes an identity threat is a ring of professional hackers. And sometimes it's an overworked accountant who forgot to encrypt their connection while sending bank details.
I need a coffee.
And you need LifeLock because your info is in endless places. It only takes one mistake to expose you to identity theft. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Founded in Los Angeles in 1986, litigation powerhouse Quinn Emanuel has deep roots in the Los Angeles community. Since 2007, we have litigated some of the largest fires on the West Coast. We are proud to be the only AmLaw 100 firm in the country to represent wildfire victims, giving affected individuals, families, and businesses the same focus and individualized attention we devote to our Fortune 500 clients. BTI Consulting has repeatedly recognized Quinn Emanuel as among the 4 law firms in-house counsel least like to oppose in any litigation, and we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been affected by the recent wildfires in Altadena and the Palisades and would like to discuss your situation further, please contact wildfire support at QuinnEmanuel.com or call us at 213-443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LACJCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., the Support Center is your one-stop shop for re-entry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. So we have a caller from Santa Clarita on the line. Welcome in tonight. What's on your mind?
Hi, I just wanted to comment real quick about the whole Snoop Dogg thing and his thoughts about what he saw in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't seen the movie myself, but the first thing I was thinking is I think he's really overreacting because the child clearly already knew that 2 moms couldn't have a baby. He should have just said, you know what, baby, you're right about that. They probably just went to an adoption agency and they didn't show that part in the movie. Or if they saw one of the characters actually deliver the baby, he could have said something like, they probably just did something miraculous that we didn't get to see in the movie. And to be honest, he didn't have to explain like IVF or, anything like that, because most adults don't even know all the details and complexity of in vitro fertilization or IVV or anything else, So I think he overreacted. That's one. And then 2, I think children sometimes test us to see if we're going to just tell them the truth, and we don't have to tell them the truth in a way that's going to make us feel uncomfortable. Because when my daughter was about 5 or 7, so either in kindergarten or around the 1st grade, she asked me, Mom, do babies grow inside of the stomach? And I said, oh, that's a very good question. And I just explained that there's a lot of organs in our abdomen, and the stomach is one of them, but that's where food goes, and it's broken down and then eliminated from our bodies as waste. So we can't grow a baby in our stomach. I said the baby just grows in a different organ, and as the baby grows, the abdomen swells, and it looks like the baby's growing in the stomach, but it's not. It's just a different organ. And she was satisfied with that. And I thought to myself, I'm going to stop right there because I'm going to anticipate what she's going to ask me next. And I'm thinking in the future, she might ask me, what is that organ? And I'm just going to use some biblical terminology because in our scriptures, it says that God knitted us together in the secret places of our mother's womb. So I thought if she asked me again, I'm not going to use this big term uterus. I'm just going to say, the baby grows in the mom's womb and leave it at that.
Well, makes sense to me. Thank you so much for your call. I appreciate it. So listen, I mean, with that, I think, people know their children. They know their children's temperaments, or at least they know themselves and where they're comfortable with. Again, it is a do as you feel for your family, but let's not act like we aren't exposed to all types of things that are technically inappropriate at young levels. As several people have mentioned, the child obviously knew that two women couldn't make a baby, so they knew where sex came from. So, I mean, why is it so scary to say, hey, sometimes two women love each other? I don't know, or whatever. Again, your choice, your direction. But I also think when we make too big of a deal out of things, instead of just kind of saying it and moving on, it gives more credence and makes it a bigger issue than it should be.
And I agree with that because Snoop Dogg said it. It's like the biggest thing in the world. And all I'm saying is there's a lot of parents out there that I'm sure aligns with Snoop Dogg.
No, 100%. I mean, and that wouldn't surprise me as ever. There was a lot of controversy with the film. I think the film only got 56% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was panned and did kind of bad when you consider the franchise that it's from because of that aspect of it, And again, we see the backlash from these type of things. Look who's in the White House now. That is a direct response and correlation to some of these events. Again, I'm not advocating for it. I'm just saying we all know what the play is and where the anger lies on different levels. It's a different trigger for different people. Okay, really quick. Kayla Nicole, she was the black girlfriend. She and Travis Kelce were together for about 5-6 years. She was a model, Sports Illustrated. She's currently co-hosting the new sports. She has a podcast. I think she joined what is the guy, not the Pivot, but what they were before the Pivot. I'm blanking on the name.
Brandon Marshall.
There you go. She joined Brandon Marshall's network. I think that they have a podcast together. She is the female voice for that sports thing. And she was with Travis, not my boss, Travis Kelce, for many years. And people were like, she didn't get a ring. She talked about how he didn't buy her a lot of stuff. He wasn't special. Like, he wasn't doing all of these things, right? And so now that he has proposed to Taylor Swift, people are all up in her comments saying, see, Caucasian women know how to get the ring. See, he was just playing with you and wasting your time. Men too. People are throwing it at her. But my thing is, this has nothing to do with her. Why are you going to this woman to harass her? Baby, turn your comments off if you haven't and let it go. They've been broken up for years now. I mean, timing is everything, right? A lot of times it may not be the other individual. It may just be where you're at and you're ready to settle down. Or it's the person. Regardless, if it's not you, it's not you, right? You can't change yourself. So I just don't know why people want to go and give all this fever to Kayla.
That's why I feel like social media is just hell sometimes.
It is.
Like, for what? It should be more congratulatory comments towards Travis, towards Taylor. But now y'all want to bring somebody's ex in the situation?
Right.
Like, how many years has it been? Come on, y'all.
It's been a while. It's been quite some time. So, let that woman be free and go on about her way and live life. All right. And lastly, before we get out of here, And I'm just, if you're wondering, because I know I haven't talked about the follow-up of Lil Nas X, you know, prayers to him, man. That's what I can say. Unless there's something deeper than what we currently know, I'm going to leave it where it is. But I also want to shout out Tina Knowles and obviously Beyonce for Cécred. They dropped a new product line today, and the Cécred hot oil ritual sold out. Tina made a post to Instagram saying, "My mother taught me how important oils are for our hair," and it's linked to a cultural tradition, oiling as generational Black hair care practice. And Cécred is proving that it's more than just a celebrity, vanity line. It's about legacy. And that's one thing I love about Beyonce, how she weaves legacy into all the products, all the projects that she pushes out. There is a history there. There is a reason for the pieces and the things that flow together. And I like that because we talk a lot about lineage, legacy, and losing those things. And one of the ways that we can ensure that we don't lose those type of, you know, our rituals, our traditions, our stuff, is by passing it along, somehow infusing it into what things are going now and making it special. So I appreciate them for doing that. And let me tell you, this is not a paid endorsement. This is just my personal experience. That Cécred line is incredible and works. It has done so much for my humidity-driven hair currently. All right, that's my time. Thank you guys for locking in each and every Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. You know we'll be back tomorrow with more trending topics and headlines. It is your favorite timeline translator, Jill Munroe, and I'm back tomorrow.
All right, yo, say the goodbye. Just get over, y'all. What? The bus, y'all. I'll call y'all niggas later. You ain't gonna call us. Don't even try, man. Man. Man's glad.
Yeah, won't you come up and let me show you how much?
You know the flavor. Buzz me up, babe.
If you let me come inside, I'll keep you satisfied tonight. If you want me, if you need me, turn down all the lights. I'll make you feel alright tonight. Come on, come inside. I'm thinking about you. The last time we made love, and I fantasize so many things that I dream of.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News Now. The search for missing 12-year-old New Orleans boy has come to a tragic end. The body of Brian Vasquez was discovered in a marshy lagoon near his home.
This is indeed a profoundly sad day, but a day for some